In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the driver's side corner rear bumper piece on this Toyota 4Runner. Let's get started. I want to remove this fender flare. If you don't have one on your trim of this 4Runner model, then don't worry about this step, but I have it and I have to pull it off of the bumper corner piece. So there's a 10mm bolt here, one here, and there's one on the back side, which I'll show you in a second. Let's pull these off first. There's one. Don't snap right in half. And two. This is the one on the back side. It's actually underneath. Remove this. A lot of times these break, so make sure you have new hardware. There should also be two push clips here and here. Ours are missing, so we can just remove this piece, but if you had yours, you would pop the push clips out with a trim tool and then remove this. There it is. Now let's remove this plastic piece. I prefer to start at one end and work my way to the other. You don't have to, but it's a lot easier to do it this way. The first thing you want to do is pop this corner up. It's got a little tab that sticks into that hole, and then you want to clear this rubber bump stop here for the trunk. And then just take a pry tool, preferably something plastic so you don't damage anything, and just pry up. There are clips along the underneath of this plastic piece. They are pretty tough though, so make sure whatever you're prying with is up to the task. There we go. Okay, just hold pressure upwards on it with your other hand, otherwise it's going to want to pop back in. And there you have it, set it aside. Now let's undo this bolt that connects the center piece of the bumper to this driver's side corner piece. It's a 12mm bolt. There are multiple holding this on, but we'll start here. A lot of times these get fairly rusty. There it is. Let's remove the top bolts that go on the inside of the wheel arch here. They're threaded upwards, so the head is going to be on the bottom. For me, I have to use a 13mm socket. For you, it's most likely going to be a 14mm. Looks like that nut at the top is spinning. I'm going to grab it with some locking pliers. Hopefully that'll allow us to remove it. If you have to do the same thing, just make sure you put them on nice and tight so they don't slip off. Okay, there it is. Underneath the corner of it, right here, you'll see a 12mm bolt. Remove this one. Another 12mm bolt right by the wheel well here. I'm using a 13 because that's what this one is, but it's supposed to be a 12. Take that out. Now grab the corner piece, twist it out, lift it up on the back side, slide it forward, and there it is. Now let's put the corner piece in on the driver's side, and it has this bracket that gets a bolt threaded on through the underside of it, and this bracket is supposed to hook up and around this black bracket here. That's how it secures. So start with this, hook it over, pull this back, and then there's a little tab on the other side of it here that secures it to the center piece of the bumper, just so it's properly secured onto the body of the vehicle. I'm going to put this bolt in here. It's the easiest one to reach. I'm not going to tighten it. I just want it on, and I still want this to move around, which is why I'm not tightening it, but this will at least hold it on securely and it won't fall down as I put the other bolts on. Having said that, put the bolt in for this bracket that I was mentioning earlier. This one is a little tricky and difficult to see, but you should be able to line it up easily. There we go. That started on nice and smooth. Again, not going to tighten any bolts until they're all in, so I'm going to leave it like this. It still moves around. Perfect. Next, I'm going to do the lower rear corner. Get the mounting bolt through. Sometimes it's not going to line up perfectly, but you can grab it with a ratchet and extension and Just maneuver it into place here. Give it a couple of turns to make sure the threads engage smoothly, which they do. Not going to tighten it. Still has a little bit of play. That's perfect. Now for the last bolt, the one that connects the top of the corner to the center part of the bumper. Slide that bolt through and thread it on. And because this is the last one, I know that they're all lined up, so I'm just going to go ahead and tighten it. That's tight. Now let's tighten up the lower rear one. Now moving to the wheel well area, I want to tighten the top one first so that it pulls this whole piece down, lines it up with the body, and then we'll tighten the lower one. All right, that one's tight. And this one on the outside. Perfect. Now let's put this Fender Flare piece in, line it up, and then I have new hardware because mine broke on this side, but line it up, start it in. Two down here. I'm going to get these a little closer before I put in the last one. There we go. I didn't tighten them yet, just in case I have to move it around. Now the last bolt goes underneath here. Line this one up, and because this is the last one and they're all in, I'm just going to go ahead and tighten it. Okay, now tighten the other two. Our push clips were missing on this side, and I don't have any to put in that'll fit. If you still have yours, go ahead and put them back in. Last piece is going to be this one that covers the top of the center piece. Line it up with the striker for the trunk hatch. Tap it down. Make sure all of the little clips lock in. That looks perfect. And there you have it.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.